Greetings and welcome to another edition of Caring About Seniors. I am your host, Adrienne Houghton. And as you know, each week I sit down with Dave Stieglitz, who is the president of Oasis Senior Advisors Jacksonville, and we discuss all aspects of senior living. We're delighted to welcome as a guest today Dawn Epstein from Always Caring Home Care. Welcome, Dawn.
Thank you, and thank you very much for having me.
It's an absolute pleasure. We're delighted to find out more about Always Home Caring. So tell us, what do you do?
Well, we're a home health agency. So we provide, our services are, we can provide personal care, which is assistance with dressing, bathing, hygiene, issues like that. We can provide companion care, which is assisting seniors with supervision, just doing things with them, cognitive enhancing activities. We can provide homemaking and housekeeping, light housekeeping activities, and we can provide nursing care as well.
Now that's quite a lot.
We can do a lot. Yes, we can do a lot, the whole gamut.
I mean, that's. Do you cover dementia?
We do. Yes, absolutely. I have a specialty background in dementia. So I've been working, I started in research. I actually, I ran an Alzheimer's Care Resource Center in South Florida for many years also. So we do. We also work with the Alzheimer's Association and their Purple Ribbon program. So our caregivers that go in the home do have additional training to work with people who have dementia, Alzheimer's disease, or any type of neurocognitive deficits.
When you're offering so many services, there's got to be a number of different levels of carers. How do you go about training them?
Well, they all have the state required training. And then those that participate in the Purple Ribbon program that do the extra dementia training, then those are the caregivers that we designate for individuals that actually have some cognitive impairment. So it really depends on their training and their experience. So we really try to match our clients with the caregivers that are going to best be suited to them.
Yes.
So we actually do a whole personalized and customized care plan for clients. So I would go in and meet with them, find out what their needs are, put together a plan and determine what would be the best person for them, for their needs. On top of that, we also have nursing oversight. So our nurse would go in and do a nursing assessment. All this is done at no cost to the clients. And the nurse also supervises the caregivers in the home to make sure that the clients are getting the best care that they possibly can and appropriate care. And they go in every 60 to 90 days and do follow-up visits. And all of that is provided at no cost to our clients.
So there's sort of every 60 days there's an evaluation. Are they on the right care plan? Do they need something else?
60 to 90 days, depending on the services that they're getting. If they're getting nursing services, then it's every 60 days. If they're getting home care services, it's every 90 days. That's just the differentiation.
So I guess where you come in, Dave, is when they actually say, I think he's ready for the next step.
Well, I wanted to talk more about nursing because a lot of home health agencies can't do the nursing.
Right.
What all does that entail? What does that open up for you that you can do in addition?
With the nursing, well, not only do we have the oversight also too, but for the actual nursing services, we can assist with wound care. We can assist with infusions, medication management, anything that requires actual nursing assistance, we can help with.
Right, because that's a differentiator for you because there's a lot of home health companies that are personal care and they can't do the medical side, and then there's the skilled companies that do the nursing, but you're kind of a hybrid. You do both. We do both, absolutely. So yeah, we can provide all kinds of services for our clients, and we cover a wide area too. I run Jacksonville to Daytona Beach, so we cover 7 counties. Obviously, Duval County, Clay County, St. John's, incorporated in that 7 counties. So we cover a wide area. We're actually corporately owned, so we're in 34 states. So we cover all of Florida, but I personally run Jacksonville to Daytona. Right. So I would be the one going out and meeting with those clients and helping them put a care plan together. And if I meet with someone, what if home care may not be the appropriate option at that time based on their situation? So that would be where I would refer them to David. Yeah. To go and okay, it looks like placement into one of these communities is going to be the best option for your loved one. So then they would meet with Dave.
Does Medicare assist at all with any of the home health care?
That's a myth. Basically, people do believe that their health insurance, Medicare, these Advantage plans are all going to cover their home care needs. what Medicare and their health insurance covers is what we call skilled care, episodic, task-oriented. What that means is a nurse might come in if a person fell or a person got out of surgery. So it's episodic after something happened. So it has to be, a prescription has to be written by a doctor for it. Someone would go in and they would assess the person, maybe come once a week to do medication management. You might have a caregiver come and do a bath for 30 minutes and then leave for up to maybe 6 weeks, and then they're done. That's what your health insurance covers. That's that skilled episodic care. What it doesn't cover is home care, which is basically what we do, where you have someone that comes in for 4 hours up to 24 hours, 7 days a week. We can cover pretty much anything in between, that actually provides that companion care, that personal care, dressing, bathing, meal prep, transportation, and things like that. It's covered. We take private pay, of course. We also take long-term care insurance plans. We work with the Medicare, or Medicaid, all of the waiver program providers. So Humana, Sunshine, United, all of those we work with. The VA, we work with our veterans, and we also work with grants. So the Area Agency on Aging may have some grants available to some folks, and we do work with them as well.
Well, ultimately, it's cheaper in the long run to stay at home in your own home than it is to go into a home, isn't it?
To a degree. It depends on
Yes.
how many hours. There's a tipping point where the hours that you're spending privately for home care actually can exceed the typical cost of assisted living.
And that's where, once
That's
again,
where we
you'd come in.
into play.
Yes.
Correct.
Yeah, that's where we take the financial. When I meet with families, I take their financial situation, in consideration, because that's a lot of time the decision.
Do you help out people who are perhaps have just come out of hospital, and instead of going to rehab, they say, "Oh, I really want to go home. I need to be at home." Can you help in those situations?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. We have nurses that can assist if they have any wound care, if they have, any infusions that are needed. We can do in certain counties. I can't say we offer this in all 7 counties because that wouldn't be appropriate. In some counties, we do have physical therapy and occupational therapy that can go in if they just came out of a knee surgery. We can do that too. So yes, we can.
What do you think you would like the public to know that perhaps they don't know about your services?
Well, our services at Always Caring, first of all, we're not new. We've been around 45 years in the state of Florida. We are in 34 states, so we're a large company. So we were formerly known as Rest Care, so we just rebranded our name. So Always Caring is a new name, but we're not new to the area. We also are accredited by the ACHC, which is the Accreditation Committee of Home Care, and been recognized for providing exceptional personal care to our clients. So that holds us to a higher standard, so to speak. As part of that higher standard, that's where we offer the nurses that go in and do the assessments initially at no charge, and then they do the supervisory or the follow-up visits every 60 to 90 days. And all of our caregivers are overseen by the nurses. And all of that it's extra that we do per our accreditation that not every home health agency or nurse registry would provide. Also, we're an agency, and that differentiates us too. So our caregivers are employees. They fall under our liability insurance. They fall under our workman's comp. They get hurt on the job. Our clients aren't going to be sued. Everything is covered. We take their taxes out. They don't have to worry about doing any of that. And again, they're all supervised by nurses as opposed to registries, in which case they're working with independent contractors.
Right.
So we feel like that gives us a little bit of advantage there. On top of that, we are corporately owned. So we have extra checks and balances. So we're not a family-owned operation. We're not a franchise. We're corporately owned. So on top of that, we do quarterly audits internally. There's a lot of supervision and checks and balances to make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. Our clients are getting the care that they need and the best care possible.
Gosh.
That's a lot
I mean,
too.
that it is.
That's a lot.
It is
We
a
do a
lot.
lot.
It is a lot.
And people don't usually save for home care. People don't plan on home care. So when you're meeting with families, it's because a need has arisen. I mean, people, they save money for a new car. They save money for, fun things, not home care. So we're here to provide the best service. We're competitively priced, so you're not paying more than other home health agencies to receive the benefits that we feel we provide compared to other home health agencies. So we're here to help in a time of need.
Do you have a minimum?
Well, we do. Right now, it's a minimum that, from what I've I've talked to a lot of people. I worked in this area long enough to meet a lot of professionals who do this, that we are in line with other home health agencies. We do it in a range. So private pay range would be $26 to $30 an hour, depending on the level of need, depending on the time, if it's a weekend or, so we really can work with the clients on the price. We also take a lot of other forms of payment too. So if they're a veteran, we would connect them with the VA if they're not already connected, and we may be able to work through that. If they're on Medicaid, we may be able to work through their insurance there. If they have long-term care insurance. So we really try to make it as financially comfortable for the clients as we can.
How do you match the clients up with the caregivers? Do you go through a process there to try to get the right personalities?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I would meet with the clients. So you go out, kind of get a feel for what that client's like, what their needs are like. I know a lot of the caregivers. We also have a customer service manager who knows all the caregivers more than I do. And we usually get together afterwards and discuss the needs of the client, who we think might be a good fit and the type of personality. And we really try to make it so the first match, the first person that walks in the door is the right person for them.
Oh, that makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
As well, because otherwise it's awkward for the client, isn't it?
Right. It's frustrating because then they have to retrain somebody to their needs, their schedule. So we want to get it right the first time.
How do people reach you, and what answers should they have initially for you?
Well, to reach me, they can just call us at the office, which is a 904-296-5800, or look up Always Caring Home Care. And
that's always caring, as opposed to always. Yes,
I know that confuses people, especially when you're trying to send email. Always, so ALL, Always Caring. So look us up, and you can reach me at the office. Just ask for Dawn, or anyone can probably help you, but you can certainly ask for me. What they'll need to know is, or just answer questions about if they're calling for themselves or a loved one. What are the needs? What do you think your needs are? And that they may not know. And if they don't know, I'm happy to sit down with them and work that out. So they don't really have to have all that information up front. I can try to help them determine that. Also, do they have long-term care insurance? Are they a member of the VA? What type of insurance do they have? So I can let them know if we can work with their insurance. There may be grants available. They don't have to necessarily know that. We try to be aware, and obviously we have grants that we're connected to through Area Agency on Aging. So if I meet with them, I might deem, you might be eligible for grant funding. So I can always refer them. So I can try to walk them through the process if they need. They don't have to have a lot of answers yet.
Yeah, no, I'm sure there's a lot of confusion out there. I mean, I think that's what we've come across on numerous occasions, that people are confused and they're anxious.
Right.
And they think that the only hope is that they have to leave.
Right. They have to go into a home, and there a lot of people have a vision of a home. They're thinking of nursing home, not an assisted living community. Right. That you do. So it's really not the same. But people, if they do want to stay in their own home, we're absolutely here to help them make that happen. And if it's not appropriate, I try to be a resource for families. So if it's, hey, look at their finances, look at their situation, and say, it may not be the best, most appropriate way to go, and then we kind of work together that way.
Well, Dawn, thank you for coming in and telling us about Always Caring, because now it's enlightened me once again. David, you've done it again, so thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much for having me. And
don't forget, if you'd like to know any more information about Always Caring, you can always find out anything from caring about seniors on iwannabuzz.com. Greetings and welcome back to another edition of Caring About Seniors. I am your host, Adrienne Houghton. Now, each week I sit down with Oasis Senior Advisors Jacksonville and we discuss all aspects of senior living. Today, joining us from Oasis is El Begocious, and our guest today is Mr. Scott Lara, who is from Senior Helpers. Welcome.
It's great to be here. Thank you so much.
It's good to see you. So first of all, tell us a little bit about you and how you got into healthcare.
I got into healthcare many years ago. over 30 years ago because my grandmother needed home care. And so I learned quite a bit about it and was able to help her with skilled care and with home health aid. And it's just been a great experience being there to help a senior.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. And so that's how you actually started 30 years ago. Wow. And when did you, Al, meet Scott?
I met Scott when I first got involved with senior care. I was in Scott's position with an organization called Extension Home Care. And I was out there banging on doors, and he was with another organization, and we kind of befriended each other. And what's beautiful about Scott's and my relationship, when I was a competitor of his, he shared what he knew. And he helped me become a better senior care person.
How wonderful.
So.
How wonderful. Yeah. So let's get down to senior helpers and exactly what do they do?
Senior Helpers here in Jacksonville has been in business for, oh gosh, since 2008, helping seniors in our community. And it's very rewarding because helping seniors, I mean the greatest generation, and helping them in the home to age gracefully, age with dignity in the home is just huge because as younger people, helping our grandparents and our folks feel better and have dignity is just a very rewarding experience for me.
Yeah, so if somebody needs help with cleaning or what other things do you do?
That's a very good question because so many people think that senior helpers and is out there just for companionship or for helping around the home, but it's so much more than that. A good friend of mine was telling me about balance, how it's such a great asset. And if you don't have your balance, everything else, money, cars, toys, iPhones, means nothing. And I had a little balance issue a couple of months ago, and it felt like I was back on my Navy ship going back and forth. And so we really help seniors in the home maintain their balance safely, from going to the toilet, to the bathtub, getting up in the morning, going to bed at night. And, you know, using the example of Bob Saget, hits his head, lays down on the bed, and something very bad happened there. Did you know that over 3 million seniors every year go to the emergency room because of a fall? I didn't know that before I got into home care. And so if we can help a senior prevent a fall in the home, it really helps everyone.
And how do you actually start the process to become a client?
Well, the process begins with, you know, a family. It's usually a family member. It is never a senior that raises their hand and says, I need help. Someone my age will call for someone Sal's age and say, you know, my grandpa, you know, has been falling. There's been things going on. And so usually a person will call me and then I will do an assessment to see how the person is. If they have dementia, if they have Alzheimer's. And then I educate, I tell the family member what we can do. We come in, you know, with a gentle touch, helping them transfer, making sure they don't fall. And of course, companionship, light housekeeping, and those things too. But our main goal is to prevent people stay safe in their homes.
So is your assessment an in-home assessment?
Absolutely. It's a free in-home assessment that I provide where I go in and I look at rugs on the floor, if I see if there's a shower chair or not, to see if there are pets, see how safe the home is. And from there, I can develop a care plan working with my office regarding if it's Alzheimer's, dementia, forgetfulness, to make sure that person in the home is staying safe to prevent a costly hospital admission.
Right. Now, you work with veterans as Al does. Tell me about how you help them.
Well, I'm a U.S. Navy veteran. I was on a ship. I was a radarman going all over the world. And veterans are very special for myself and for senior helpers because many veterans don't know that the VA has benefits to pay senior helpers to care for them in the home. So I help veterans and their families navigate the VA system to get those funds. And it's rewarding there because now it's not so much of a financial burden for care.
So how does one pay for your services?
It's what we call private pay, and this is something that is out of your own pocket, that someone will pay us to come out and take care of someone. And I do have to say that it's a minimum of 4 hours a day for 4 days a week, and a lot of people say, well, Scott, why so long? Well, when you're looking at someone in the morning or at lunch or at night, you don't want to just be in there for a few hours just to do a couple things. You need to be in there to make sure the person doesn't fall. And of course help with other things as well, but it's all about safety at home. And we need the time to be able to care for someone adequately and safely.
Now, senior helpers have a specific process, don't they, that they go through? What is that?
And the process is that someone will call us or they'll reach out to us on social media or via email and saying, I have a relative that needs help. And then we do the process of doing the assessment and then letting them know what the care plan is and moving forward with that.
There's so much that can be done to aid seniors, and there's so many seniors that say, I don't need any help. The people that don't have dementia, but just are elderly and perhaps lonely, is that also something?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah.
And you're precisely right. It is never an elderly person that says, I need help,
Yes,
especially
as you
men.
said.
We like to be independent and not have to worry about things. It's always a family member that is concerned about the relative. But yes, we do provide companionship, light housekeeping, rides to Starbucks or rides to Golden Corral. There's a lot of things we do like that. That's
So
true.
it's not just in the home. You could take somebody shopping or...
To doctor's appointments, to hairdresser appointments, absolutely.
Gosh, is there anything you don't do?
Well, I think we do pretty much everything, absolutely.
So talk to me about the normal day in the life of a senior helper.
Well, that is a very, very good question. The caregiver goes in, greets the client, and takes the initiative. Hey, let me help you with this. Have you had breakfast yet? Let me help you with this. And being proactive, not waiting for the elderly person to say, hey, I need help with this. And so that's the one thing that we do very well at Senior Helpers is training our caregivers to be proactive, to ask those questions and to be ahead of it and to help them with bathing, with dressing, with toileting, and if they're incontinent, helping them with that as well. So it's a very personal, hands-on service, again, for the main goal of keeping a senior out of the hospital and out of the emergency room.
Are all your helpers fully trained nurses?
Well, they are CNAs or home health aides. And with Senior Helpers, we're bonded, licensed, and insured. We're not a registry. We are fully accredited. And we've been doing this since 2008. And I'm very proud to be a part of Senior Helpers, helping seniors and veterans in our community.
Do you find yourself sometimes in a situation where it's more than perhaps a helper can deal with, and it's time to move forward? Is that when you perhaps talk to Al?
Absolutely, because if someone is at a stage where it is unsafe for them to be in the home, it is my responsibility to inform the client and the family members that maybe we need to go to the next stage. If it is hospice or talking with Al about, possibility of going into a facility, absolutely. So I'm very keenly aware of every client I see to make sure that they're getting the proper care.
Have you actually gone on an assessment before now thinking, oh, this is not for us?
Absolutely. There may be, that's a very good question, because there may be times where someone doesn't need a lot of care. They just want someone coming in the morning, getting the person started, coming in at night. And usually that's churches and family and friends that just stop by.
Sure.
But there are a lot of folks that the family member and the client don't realize they need more care, and that's exactly what I provide.
Gosh, I mean, it's something. I mean, we're all getting older, and you all, when you're fit and healthy, you don't think that far into the future. Is it something that can be planned for?
To a certain degree, yes. Give you an example. My wife's grandfather was a 98-year-old World War II bombardier, and he was living up in Athens, Georgia, in an independent living facility, and he fell. My wife would call every day. She couldn't get a hold of him one day, and we moved him down here, and we were able to get him the care he needed, close to family and friends. And so, yes, as we age, as we progress, we just need to be aware of that process and where we are. But yes, absolutely, you can be ahead of the game with long-term care insurance, and you can be ahead with making sure your wishes are known with your family members, so that if you do get to a certain point, the actions can be taken what the elderly person would want.
Are there tips or for some of the relatives to look for, so that when they contact you, they can say, you need to know this, 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 and this before you come for the assessment?
Absolutely. If someone is forgetful, and if they're having problems with going to the restroom, if they have fallen in the past, if there are just things going on there just are out of the normal. And a lot of times it is just stuff that happens overnight. Sure. Grandma can be fine for this certain period and suddenly something happens. And that is a red flag that family members and also social workers, also folks in the doctor's offices. And let me just comment really quick for the social workers that are watching. Don't prejudge someone, a family member or a client when they come in. Take a good look and see not just how they are at the doctor's office, but how they could be at home. And I know that doctor's visits go very quickly. You need 25 or 30 patients a day. But I encourage social workers and folks in doctor's offices, look at the whole person and think about what's going on maybe at 2 in the morning. And again, with my friend Al, as we get older, especially as gentlemen, going to the bathroom at 2 in the morning. Yeah. That is a very difficult time, because if you're off balance and you fall and hit your head or something. And so that's something I encourage family members, and when I talk to doctor's offices and rehab facilities also, to just keep in mind that the number one goal is to keep someone safe. And I have to go back to the Bob Saget story. He was here in Jacksonville. Yeah. He goes down to Orlando. He's at the Ritz. He hits his head. He thinks everything's okay. He falls asleep, and we know what happened. And so, again, it's just important for our seniors to keep them healthy and safe.
Yes. What would you like people to know?
I think the number one thing I'd like, especially folks my age, to know, if you have a relative who is declining, who may fall, to reach out to us at Senior Helpers, 904-458-9000. Just give us a call. We'd be happy to come out and talk with you, do an assessment, and give you that peace of mind that your senior will age with dignity and grace at home.
Yes. And Al, what would you like to add to that?
Don't underestimate the importance of that relationship with the caregiver and the elderly person. Yeah. Many times, there's a dysfunctionality between the adult child and the elderly person. And the elderly person will be more open and honest with the caregiver. Yes. And they'll talk about what's really bothering them. Mm-hmm. I can't tell you how many times before my mother died, asking her how she was doing. Oh, I'm fine. Okay? But
don't worry the kids,
Right.
Yes.
But when they have a relationship with the caregiver, it's a whole different story. Yeah. And that's another set of eyes. And doing that gives them that much more longevity.
That's special. So thank you for coming in. It's an absolute pleasure to find out about Senior Helpers. I didn't know you existed, so now I do. So that's wonderful. And also our viewers will know that you exist too. So thank you, Scott, for coming in.
Thank you, Adrienne.
And again, it's always a pleasure, Al, to see you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And don't forget, if you'd like to know any more information, you can always find it on iwannabuzz.com.